All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Great Chair Project of 2017. So, those of you guys who watch the channel know I want to get the HOTAS. I hate that saying, but I want to get the throttle and joystick that I've got the plywood mount for my glass top desk off of the desk and onto the chair. So, I want this to be kind of a universal system that could be transplanted from one chair to another. So that being said, I want to probably mount it in here, since almost all chairs universally have some way of securing the base of the chair to the frame. And I think what I'm going to do here is just got some angle iron here, and I'm going to drill holes in this angle iron to align with these two holes here. So that way I've got a flat piece of angle iron up here that'll extend on either side of the chair and be a solid mounting point. I think what I'm going to try and do is use some threaded base plates for piping and just basically mount arms in there that I can kind of measure for. We'll see what we get. So anyway, we're going to start by taking the base of this chair and this control spot off here. I'm guessing all these, of course, are not all the same size. Why would they make it easy like that? All right. My hope is that, for now at least, I'm not into the whole buying a $300, $400, $500 chair. Some of these companies are ridiculous. But being a heavier guy, I don't want to continue, about 250 pounds. Most of these chairs just don't last that long. And I am getting tired of spending $110 here, $100 there on these chairs. So, even though I don't want to spend all that money on a chair, we may be quickly getting to that point where we do invest in a better chair. But the benefit to what I'm hoping is going to work here with this system will be that this could work on any chair setup. The only issue that I can see is if we'll have enough thread left to get that angle iron through there and still get into these metal mounting points on the base of the chair. What we really need to do is we'll measure and find center. Basically just drill 2 holes in this and get that to a point where it can fit in there. All right. This will either have to be moved or modified, because this piece is going to be in the way of the angle iron. So we'll have to figure out something. I may just turn around, and if we get the angle iron mounted in there, depending on where we mount it, either remount this forward or mount this to the new joystick bracket itself. This will more than likely be a trial and error series, because I doubt we're going to get it right the first time. All right, there we go. The base of the chair is gone. So now, here we are. And this is the ideal. Basically find center on this and drill the mounting holes and then just mount the chair right back onto the top again. All right, so it's 28 and a half. So half of 28 and a half would be 14 and a quarter. So 14 1/4 would be our midpoint. Ain't gotta be perfect because it's me. And I'm just not that picky. So we'll go with 14 1/4. Well, this just wouldn't be my channel without a kid screaming in the background all the time. All right, so that should be center point, roughly. I think it's ever so slightly longer than 14 1/2, but yeah, 14 1/4. Okay, so that's center point. So I need to mark for our holes, which are going to be here and here. So if that's proper on there, then
they're being washed, Lauren.
then these two holes should be perfect. So we're basically going to drill holes in here and here, slightly larger than. We got a hole right there close by, but drill 2 holes when I come back, slightly larger than, and that should just sandwich right on there. All right, let's start putting some holes in some metal. So, Lauren, I'm going to have to get that out from underneath you here in a second. You're going to have to move, baby.
I can have to move.
Yep, my daddy needs this, okay? You going to help daddy?
Yeah.
Alright, daddy needs this. Daddy needs you to supervise. Alright, hold this for daddy.
Oh, this.
Now hold that and stay close. Alright, so now we're going to sandwich this in here.
Well, oh, watch out.
You'll watch out? Okay.
Oh, watch out.
You watch out. Alright, that's a 12mm bolt.
That's throwing the boat.
Well, I'm going to repeat everything Daddy says, just in case the audience didn't get it. And my hope is that's long enough to still grab tight. It looks like it is. Fingers crossed. Can I have your bolt, baby? Okay, can you hold these other 2 for Daddy? You hold these 2, okay? Good job. Hold that one. Pick that one up and hold it for Daddy. All right.
How's this one?
You're doing good. You hold those for Daddy. Feel like we got a good bite there. I'm confident that's going to hold.
It's still got more. It's got more.
And that may not be perfect as far as
They're not.
the alignment goes, but I can always,
How big the Daddy's hand?
it is a little bit off, I can already tell. This side is sitting a little bit further
Oh.
forward than that side. But it's off by such a
It's a little.
small amount, I don't think it's going to...
You can't get it. It's no. It's super.
There, okay. Actually, yeah, so that's why I went with those bigger holes, because that actually lifted right up where it needs to. So that's got enough of a bite. That's solid. We're not stripping out. So
Look at this one.
you hold on. You got 2 of them?
It's beautiful.
Okay, you need. Give me that one. Let me see that one. Give me one. Okay.
I hold this one.
You hold that one. Put that one down here. Can you put it in for Daddy? Here, that goes down here. Put it in there. You put it in that hole. You got it in that hole? Good job. Good job. Wow, I'm actually very impressed. That was good. Good, you got it right where it needed to go. Go give Mama a high five. Tell her you did good. That's actually impressive. You didn't even need help. Go give Mama a high five. Wow. I'm proud of her. She actually got that in the hole right where it needed to go. Okay, so bam. Nice and simple. Obviously, I can repaint that and touch that up, but I'm not going to do that because I'm lazy. And I don't know if this is going to work yet, but now we've got it. So bam, we've got this here, that there. The plan is to take, like I said, a little base, screw that in here. That gives us a base to mount these joysticks. And my plan is have that threaded come out and then have a thread coming up to a platform here, and then we'll be able to swing that in and away. But that's as far as I can go for now without going to the hardware store. I will have to address the
How about this one?
this adjustment here
How about this one?
for the chair, but I actually think I can get that sucker. I can get that sucker here. Not exactly where it's supposed to be, but I think it'll be out of the way. If not, you know, worst case scenario is we can mount it. We can mount it somewhere else if we need to. I can mount it to that metal there. We could mount it. Heck, we could even extend it and put it way out here, although I really don't want to. And then I can also mount it into the base of one of those arm ones, see how long they are. Just limited on our cable length there. That actually would work. That's not in the way. Let's do that. Let's just switch it to 1. Now my hope with this whole project here is that 1, that it's cheap, but 2, that if you're out there watching this and you're like me, it's just like, you know, my wife and I both use this room. There's a lot of times that I don't want this thing set up for gaming, that I want it just set up as a desk, and I can't stand the HOTAS being up there, and my wife doesn't complain about it because she doesn't use this computer as much, but I'm sure she doesn't like it either. So my hope is with this, that once we get it done, we have a very cheap system. Everything that we're doing so far is going to be Home Depot material. This was bought at Home Depot in their hardware section, and I want to say the flat strap is like $10. I think this angle iron might be 10 or 15. The rest of the components that I plan on picking up today should not amount to more than $20 total. And for any of those who know, like buying the HOTAS mounts and stuff for your desk, I know there's one company that makes a really nice aluminum product, and they're $103 per mount. My intention with this is to try and do something that actually looks somewhat decent. It's obviously not going to look beautiful, but somewhat decent, and something that other people could replicate, whether you have a DX Racer chair, and that's something that's in your budget. Obviously, it's not something that I want to spend my money on, or you got a cheap little Staples chair like this that's like $120, $140. I can't remember how much we spent on this, or all the way down to your cheap $99 Walmart chairs. To me, this type of a mount set up here, very easy for other people to replicate. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so after a trip quick to a local Home Depot, this is what we ended up with. 1/2-inch flanges, elbows, nipples, more elbows. I bought an 8-inch and a 5-inch just because I didn't know what I would end up needing. More elbows, flat, and then some Everbolt number 4 flathead Phillips screws with nuts. And this is the final product. This is what we're ending up with. Something that looks like this. So what this will do is this will allow me to have basically an infinitely variable system here where that's going to mount to the chair. This will come up and this will mount to the HOTAS or the throttle or the joystick, and I can adjust that up and down. I can adjust this left and right. Basically, I have an infinite number of options once this is done. So let me go ahead and put this stuff together, get on the chair, and then that way it'll be easy for you guys to see what I'm talking about. further back than I wanted, but I don't feel like taking the armrest off. So without taking that armrest off, it's about as good as we're gonna get. Piece of things together from scrap. This comes with nuts and bolts, but I would recommend a washer for this. I happen to have a bunch just laying around scraps, so I'm going to put those on here. So that would add a couple cents to the cost of this. All in all, I think right now I don't remember what the cost of this angle iron was, but I would guess it was somewhere around 20 bucks. $22 maybe. I bought a couple extra pieces from this pipe, this 1/2-inch pipe, and I would say that all in all, I'm probably about $80 into this. And then my plan is to eventually make a metal base for the joysticks. Actually, these screws could be a little bit shorter, but to make a metal base for the joysticks. But for now, I'm just going to do a plywood base on the top of this. Mount a plywood piece to it and mount the joystick to that. So I mean, all in all, under $100 that you could easily get this whole project done for. Hoping I wouldn't have to use any of these big old washers that I have, but apparently that's not going to be avoidable, so we'll use those. It's going to be a bunch of mix match parts, but it's proof of concept. If I can get it to work, then I can go back and revisit things on this. And yeah, revisit what and polish it up, paint stuff. You know, we'll just see how things go. I'll try and get this one mounted right in the middle, so it kind of matches that guy. Fits like a glove. I mean, it's just nice having a hardware store like Home Depot available where that stuff, it fits like it was meant to. Yeah, if you're really particular about stuff, of course you go in there and you could get these things color matched and buy some different bolts, but those should be strong enough to hold that. My intent was to buy something that was strong enough to be torqued down, which these can, so perfect. Let's get that torqued down real quick. Getting these things perfectly aligned on a chair where I want them is going to be a challenge, because this is obviously not the application that these pieces of pipe were intended for. They will be more than strong enough to do the job. It's just going to be a matter of getting them adjusted in the right positions. And there's a couple tricks to that. You could use Loctite on the threads. You get it fairly snug, but it's just not quite at that right angle, and you need to snug it down some more. You could use Loctite, but another trick is to use Teflon tape on these threads, which is what we may end up having to do here, and that basically increases the friction. It's meant to be a sealant to stop gases or liquids from escaping the plumbing, but in this application, it'll basically cause there to be more friction between those threads and allow us to do our thing. So first things first, we're going to mount our, I forget what they call these things, there's a little pass through there. We're going to mount our first elbow I want to kind of dry fit this at first. This one I want to be able to swivel, so I don't want this to be too tight. And we're going to do an extension out this way. This stuff could be adjustable. You can buy these lengths of pipe in like 2 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. This is 8 inches. So you can buy these in any different length to make this fit for your particular chair. That's why I'm very, very happy with this so far, because this is basically working very, very well. Now this is going to be a part where this will have to be tightened down just right to get me up here. So I'll probably have to tighten that down a little bit. This is what I started with. This may not end up being long enough. This is an 8-inch section, but if it's not, I can always extend that. Make sure you guys got a good view of what's going on here. Right, you should. Then we go in with another elbow. And this is the beauty of this system, is this is now infinitely variable here. So I can go ahead and, if I want the joystick about right here, I can go ahead and stick that in, get this guy in here, and then at any angle I want, we got to adjust this. If we wanted to, we could make it go out if we needed a wider stance to this. I think we should be good this way. You know what I actually want to do? I want this to be taller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this one that would actually push this in. You can see I bought 2 different types here. You can see this one, hopefully let me see if the camera's seeing it. This one's got that little spacer in it. This one's just straight thread. So I want to go closer in, so I'm going to use the straight thread on this. And then I'm going to use the section that elevates it. Here. And then, where did I put my little flange? Okay, I used both of them. So, bam. And this is where the plywood will now mount. Now, if I need to extend this and change this in any way, shape, or form, I could extend this arm, which I might have to do. Or if I push this out, then I could put a taller piece on there. We'll just see. I mean, there's going to be plywood in the base of the joystick. I mean, you guys can see, basically just damn near very adjustable setup. Just very adjustable. And once that's all kind of tightened down and get dry fit it the way we want it to, you're going to need yourself a good pair of pliers. But once that's done, that's done. And you should, I mean, this stuff, you don't get tougher than that. I mean, you know, this is the advantage of not using some of these other mounting systems that I see. They work real well for people, but you know, thin stamped metal brackets that aren't really built for this application, while they may work, they may be weak, they may give you play. This system ain't gonna sag, it's not gonna bend, it's not gonna do anything that you don't want it to do. Like I said, we're dealing with straight up steel pipe here. And this stuff, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is built to carry natural gas. This is utility pipe. Where did I stick that little extra raw piece? That's coming back in, and that's up. For the life of me, I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. Where did I put that little piece? I love it. Try to make these videos raw, and then I'll lose stuff. Which just wastes time. Oh, there it is. Actually fell back in the seat. So like I said, eventually I'll probably make a bracket for these so that I've got metal for the joysticks to mount to. Obviously that's going to need to be a little bit tighter. I mean, that's it right there, snug. This one's already tight. And these basically can swing out, swing in, do whatever we want. So I'm going to get these kind of dry fitted, or they're dry fitted now. Now I get the joystick, just get some plywood, cut some plywood for the joysticks themselves, and then those should be mounted pretty darn near even with where the existing height of that chair is, and then mount the joysticks to it, and we will be done with this project. Got the outgoing plate here. This is what used to be mounted down to the desk to keep these things from bouncing around and sliding on that glass top desk. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. I'm going to go ahead and use that existing hardware. Just cut these pieces they're mounted on. I just took sheetrock screws, 3-inch sheetrock screws that would screw through the base of these controllers. I just cut the tips off so they were just long enough to go into this, but not long enough to go through. Since I have kids, some people won't have that issue. But yeah. All right. Last thing I want to do is go ruining any part of this setup right before I get to play with it and test it tonight on the DCS stream. So I don't know yet if I'm going to take you guys along for the ride of fine-tuning this. Obviously there's going to be, might have to put some Teflon, take the arms on and off and get them all set up right. But if I don't, I'll definitely get some shots of this once it's finished. That is an absolute mess. Get off this chair, ladies and gentlemen. But now we can see it taking shape and coming together. We're going to mount these guys here. Joysticks are going to mount on top of that. Joystick and throttle. And bam, I mean, we're going to be in business. This is turning out better than I thought it was going to. So let's get this mounted up. Okay, bolt cutters were appeared on the chair because, again, I am lazy. So I used basically just sheetrock screws, and I just bolt cut the ends of them off so that I pre-drilled them and then took them out and then bolt cutted them so that way they fit. I don't know which one was throttle now and which one was joystick. They should be the exact same, so we'll find out. That's throttle. If that's joystick, that needs to be mounted like that. And then joystick, no, sorry, throttle, I keep saying it wrong. No, okay, that is not correct. That would need to be mounted like that. If this is the right one, which we'll make it the right one. Okay, that is not the right one. We will not make it the right one. That is throttle side. So basically now we've got the little 4-way plate here. Just mounted down to the base of that. This is the throttle side. So we'll get our throttle mounted. So that doesn't seem right though. I'm wondering, what am I? This is the throttle. I don't know why that wasn't. I mean, you're gonna have to have a couple tools, some wrenches and stuff like that to do this at your house. You're gonna have to have a desire to mess with this stuff in the first place. But if all of the above apply to you, these basic tools and the desire, then this is the way to go. I mean, it's just, you know, there's not a good, from what I've seen, there is not a good, cost-effective alternative out there right now to mounting joysticks to chairs. If there are, I have not seen them, and if there are, I would also bet money on the fact that they are proprietary to a specific chair. Whereas this, as you guys have seen, if I bought a DX Racer or anything else, as long as there is some type of a mounting system in between the base of the chair and the chair itself that I can get angle iron in between, I can easily take these mounts and reapply them. So you can see there's droop. So that's obviously going to be tightened up a little bit, but that'll all be done in fine tuning. This guy on here. I can easily go in here, and if I need to extend these longer, if I need to change the angles, anything I want to do, it's going to be easy just by going out and buying. Some of these parts were as cheap as like 97 cents for some of these nipples and stuff is what they call them. So these extensions like $2–3 for the extension pieces. So I mean, it's going to be nothing. The only problem this is going to present to me that I can see, same as my old setup, is that it's going to push me further away from the desk. Like this, I don't like how this is a little bit too close for comfort for me. That's really close to the buttons there. Now I can always pop that down, pop this down, but we'll just have to see. But that's also, again, infinite. I mean, you can't get any better than this, because I want to be able to get close to the desk so I can drop these armrests down. I'm ready to sit in this chair now. But now all I have to do is just adjust that. Probably right there is exactly where I'm going to want it adjusted, and perfect. So again, this is the way I feel like we got a good setup here. Now it's just a matter of tightening some of this stuff up. So I just literally just swung that around, and now, bam. I mean, I hope the camera's getting this. That's going to need to be tightened, and I cannot do that without taking this off. So we'll just spin that around. And you could do this if you were having problems, if you can't get it just quite right. This is going to be a bear to do. So I'm going to need to get the pliers for that. But if you can't get it just quite right, all you got to do is put some Teflon in these joints, and you'd be set to go. Now obviously, I don't want to grab it by the threads, but going back to what we were talking about earlier, you know, the guys that are using the Visa, the monitor mounts and stuff like that, if it works for you, great, do what works for you. But you can see when I'm adjusting this thing, we got to use some big tools. So what does that tell you? That should tell you, hey, this stuff, if it's meant to be tooled on with big old pipe wrenches and stuff like that, it's going to hold, you know, a joystick solid. And bam. And now I'm sitting here and I'm playing the game. I'm going to tighten that a little bit. But I'm done playing the game, swing out, and I'm gone. So we're going to need to tighten that up. And there's really not a good way to do that other than to take this whole arm off that I just put on. But the woes of this system, nothing's perfect. I've got no problem admitting that nothing's perfect, but this is just a fine tuning here. but I've got to say, not bad at all for the fine tuning. This is real time. I'm not editing this video to, you guys are seeing exactly the process if you guys went this route. And I'm very excited about this because this is better than I've ever had it before. And I feel like this is something that when this chair inevitably breaks, they always do, these cheapos, that I'll be able to go and buy another chair, and at worst, I'll have to go buy another piece of angle iron if this one is cut too short. At worst, I'll have to go get more angle iron. Some people are going to be cringing right now watching me drag the joystick. And man, we're right back to a solid mount. You know, depending on how you wanted to do this, it just gets more and more solid. I mean, it's an infinite friction fit there. I mean, that's it, because of the way we did this with an elbow and an elbow and an elbow and an elbow. We do this a lot of times in irrigation. 1, 2, 3, 4 elbows. This allows you to do so much with your mount. So this should be extremely stable in the game. It's very comfortable where it's at. If anything, it's a little bit too high. So if I want that down, I just bend it down and bend this back up again in those joints. I couldn't be more satisfied with this. So let's go ahead and let's do this one now. Tighten up our throttle piece a little bit. Very, very fast to adjust this. If I'm right, this should still, takes a little bit more pressure now, but should still swing right out. And that's completely up to you. I am one of those that I like the joystick and throttle to be very, very solid. I do not like them moving around. But if you're more in and out of your chair and not always gaming with it, then by all means. And the other thing too is you can easily, if these are in your way and you don't want to swing them, you can easily just unscrew the tops here. Just disconnect the electronics, unscrew the tops, and get it out of your way in a very short amount of time. But like I said, I don't want to edit this part of the video. I want you guys to see just raw the difficulty / ease of making adjustments with this. I'm very excited about this. Sorry I'm repeating myself, but I'm really excited. This turned out way better than I think it could have, and I'm really hopeful. That's what this channel is all about, is that I'm hopeful that it really gives some other people ideas for their own setup and assist them. So this one, everything is backward. So I want that throttle, I actually want that throttle to be out a little bit. That might be better, I think, than having it in. So I have it in like this. That's actually not bad. So we will go ahead and have it in. So then this piece needs to now be, you're adjusting one axis at a time. Okay. So on this one, I can tell this axis is too loose. I can't adjust that with this thing on here. So I take this off, unscrew this, tighten this up with a pipe wrench. Actually, this isn't a pipe wrench. All right. That's nice and firm. screw that down. And that's how easy this would be to take off. That would, I think, be the easiest way to. That is tight. This one's really firm. The only one that's not really firm is that axis there, which that's probably a matter of twisting that all the way back around again. And that should tighten up our loose pipes. That's really tight now. And that's not going to move. This one, you know what's really bugging me is the swivel. It's just not quite as tight as I'd like it to be, but that can be made to go one round more. And that's my thing right here is I ain't worried. If it's taking me, I'm not Arnold by any means, but if it's taking me that kind of effort to twist and bend this, it ain't gonna break. And that's the kind of thing I like to see. That's tough. And that's it, man. We are done. I can just get these kind of dialed in to the heights that I want to play at. That ain't moving. We'll do some cable management, probably right underneath the front of the chair. Possibly paint these things later on. Said you can adjust these things to the right height. But very, very happy with that. There is a little bit of play here in this. It's interesting. There's more play in this one, and that's the angle iron that's doing that. There's less play in that one. Might just be the way that I'm grabbing it, but if anything, I can move that further in. If it ends up being a problem, but I don't think it will be. So there, bam. All right, guys, here you have it, final product. So if I update this or mess with it anyway, I'll post some new pictures of the studio once I get everything cleaned up. Obviously the desk is dirty from where that piece was, but bam, there you go. I mean, it's mounted, it's in there. It still allows you quick and easy access to the keyboard. I mean, this should be really good. So this is the last video shots of it before I go ahead and upload this to YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, just leave your comments below, or questions in the comment section below, and I will definitely try and answer them. And if you guys need any additional photos or pictures, I can put those on the IMGUR or Imgur or whatever the heck it is account. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.